What's up everyone here? Thank you for making this video part. I'm so happy to upload this one for you guys. Well guys, the wait is finally over. After all the wait, after all the hype, after all the controversy, I finally got a chance to see the brand new DC movie, Joker. I gotta tell you, I had high hopes for this movie, and I normally don't set my expectations really high because I want to be let down if the movie does not turn out the way I want it to. But it's kind of hard not to set your expectations because, I mean, those trailers they released for this movie were so freaking good. I mean, those 2-minute trailers just gave you a small taste of Joaquin Phoenix's performance. Now, when you see the movie, you finally get to see Joaquin Phoenix unleash his whole acting career. Now, although we do have Robert De Niro and Zazie Beetz in the film, but when you really think about it, when you watch the movie, you actually see Joaquin Phoenix carry this whole film on his shoulders. Because when you really think about it, this movie is all about the Joker, and basically this movie centers around him and no one else. And throughout the entire film, you slowly get to see how this one single person falls into madness. And I gotta emphasize the word slowly because this movie is pretty dang slow. So if you're going into this movie expecting to see a lot of fight scenes, a lot of explosions, I strongly suggest that you pump the brakes before you go see this film. It's like what Todd Phillips said, this movie is more of a character study rather than your typical comic book movie. I would also add that this movie is also kind of like a Greek tragedy, because as you watch the movie, you get to see how this broken down, beat person get broken down and beat even more by society while also slowly going insane. And for the majority of the film, you're kind of hoping that Arthur Fleck will turn away from all the crimes he's committed, which is something I did not expect to do. Because in most movies, you're rooting for the main character. And when I walked in this film, I was expecting to root for the Joker throughout the entire movie. But as I was watching the movie, there were so many moments where I was hoping for Arthur to do the right thing and sort of redeem himself. But slowly and surely, we saw how a corrupt society created a monster bent on death and chaos. If I'm gonna be honest, there were a lot of moments where I actually gasped in the theater. Also, let's talk about Gotham. When you see the streets of Gotham, there is garbage, there is graffiti, there are freaking rats the size of small house cats running around. And this is where everyone is living as opposed to where the Wayne family lives. Now, I know a lot of you are probably wondering, is Joaquin Phoenix better than Heath Ledger? Now, before I go any further, I urge you to take this with a grain of salt. When you compare Heath Ledger's performance and Joaquin Phoenix's performance, it's actually kind of unfair, to be honest. Because when you think about it, while Heath Ledger did a terrific job in The Dark Knight, you gotta remember that the Joker was the main character of the movie. The main character of The Dark Knight was Batman. Now, when you look at Joker, Joaquin Phoenix has the movie all himself because the main character of the movie is the Joker. So with that in mind, I will say, while I did find Heath Ledger's performance terrifyingly good, watching Joaquin Phoenix don the persona of the Joker, it made me feel very uncomfortable in the best possible way. I mean, his posture and his bone-like body, it made my stomach just churn. Now, when you add his uncontrollable laughter, I walked out of the theater going, yeah, I'm not going to be able to look at clowns the same way again. So overall, I really enjoyed this movie, and what made the experience even better was actually watching two movies that were huge inspirations for this film. If you watch several interviews with Todd Phillips and Joaquin Phoenix, you'll actually notice that Taxi Driver and King of Comedy were huge influences when they were creating this story. In Taxi Driver, we see Robert De Niro play a post-Vietnam vet who takes matters into his own hands when he sees how politicians are looking down to people who are struggling in a corrupt New York City. And in King Comedy, we also see Robert De Niro play a stand-up comedian with a small mental disorder who's trying to become famous by going on a famous talk show. So if you get the chance, I highly recommend you watch either one of these films before or after you see this movie. It makes the experience so much better, and it also gives you a feel for Joaquin Phoenix's performance, which at least deserves an Oscar nomination. And after watching this movie, I'm not surprised that Warner Brothers is promoting this film for Oscar consideration. I mean, holy crap, this is not your typical comic book movie. And even if it was, I would go as far as to say this is the most realistic comic book movie you will ever see. And that is scary, because when you think about it, when you see what's happening on the news these days, there are people like Arthur Fleck out there. And if anything, this movie opens your mind to seeing a whole new world where these people are living in. And we have to be aware of what's going on, because we cannot be pushing these people to the extreme where we may end up creating our own Joker. So for a movie to make you feel that way, the film has done its job in storytelling and does deserve some Oscar recognition in doing it in a fantastic way. So that's going to be it for this video, guys. That was my overall review for Joker. If you liked what you saw, click the subscribe button so you can get all these updates from this channel. I'll see you next time with a brand new video. Bye-bye.